All right, so my friends, welcome. Set review, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, crossover set, Universes Beyond. We do white, blue, black, red, green, and of course the multi-card section with all the legends in it. Check that out. We also did a breakdown of what the Tempted by the Ring means, the emblem and so on and so forth. Check that out as well. Now we're here in the very, very last episode. This is the colorless cards and the lands. I want to remind y'all, you can pre-order your Lord of the Rings cards from CoolStuffInc.com. Use promo code JIM5 for 5% off your order. And you get a free copy of my new token. It's a Goblin Shaman token. Art's incredible. Love how it came out. Super, super cool. Pre-order now, CoolStuffInc.com. Again, promo code JIM5. 5% off your order on CoolStuffInc.com. Also, take a second, like the video, please. You all have done a great job lately liking the videos. Like every video you watch. Hit play, hit like. YouTube is doing great. It's all thanks to you. All right, folks. Keep doing it. Keep helping me out. You're all freaking great. Let's finish this set review up. Starting with Anduil, Flame of the West. 3 mana for a legendary equipment. +3/+1. Whenever a creature attacks, create 2 +1/+1 white spirit tokens with flying. If a creature is legendary, instead make 2 of those tokens. Tap it and attacking. So, in limited, this card is a slam dunk home run. Holy crap, this card's insane. The card you want to open, pick one back one, it's colorless. No questions asked. Bada bang, bada boom. Couldn't ask for more. Constructed, not so much. As we know, Sword of Fire and Ice, Sword of Feast and Famine. These are all cards that just aren't good anymore. They were good in Magic 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They are no longer good enough for Constructed. And this card's not better than any of those cards. So, Constructed, Modern, Historic. Sorry. Not going to pass it here. But in Limited, it's insane. In Commander, I'm sure it's fun. And it's a cool card, obviously. It's fun. Up next is Barrow Blade, a little more modest than the most important sword in the lexicon. Barrow Blade is a 1 mana equipment. It gets +1/+1. Whenever a equipped creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, that creature loses all abilities until end of turn. Actually, a pretty fine card. You know, the Leonin Scimitar short sword sort of equipment is like fine and limited as far as like sizing up goes. You know, you just kind of move it around, it helps things out a little bit. And the ability there is also not irrelevant either, too. So, you have my Blade. You know, we're playing a draft deck. I don't mind having one of these cards in my deck. There are a few equipment payoffs also. This is the cheapest way to do that, which is kind of nice. It's also an uncommon, pretty easy to get. So, yeah, I think this card's fine. I'm not taking this card highly, but I think this card's fine in your aggressive decks looking for an equipment. Obviously not playable constructed, but good draft card. Ent Draught Basin.
The salted pork is particularly good.
There's our flavor win, folks. The flavor winner for colorless and for lands is Ent Draught Basin. 2 mana for an artifact. Pay X to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature with power X. Activate only the sorceries. So, the smaller your things are, the easier it is to grow them into bigger things, and the bigger they are, the harder it is to do that. That's just pretty cool. Honestly, that's just a pretty fun little card. In limited, this card is certainly, fine as far as powering things up. It's a decent mana sink. It's pretty clunky, honestly, but I think if things are slow enough, format-wise or deck-wise, this card can do a decent job of that. But yeah, better in sealed than draft, but probably playable in draft also. And again, just a cool flavor card, pretty fun. Not every card needs to be Umezawa GTA or whatever. So card's cool. Speaking of equipment, we got Glamdring, Gandalf's Sword, 2 mana for a 2/2, 2 mana for a 2 mana equipment. Why is the last one on set review so tough? Equips for 3. Equipped creature has first strike and +1/+0 for each instant sorcery card in your graveyard.
It's a trap!
Whenever a creature does combat damage to a player, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the amount of damage that was dealt, without paying its mana cost. So right now what we have here is Rune Chanter's Pike that equips for 2 instead of 1. Sorry, 3 instead of 1. And that's just unbelievably rough. This is the kind of example of a card where the cost has been upped to give it more stuff, but it doesn't really need more stuff. It needs more efficiency. So for those that don't know, Rune Chanter's Pike is literally this card It costs 2, has the same first ability, but that's it, and then it equips for 1. So, just 2 mana more efficient on the equips. Still attacks for 1,000,000. Oh, it's 2? Maybe it's 2. I'm sorry, whatever. But it's cheap enough where you can put it on a token. It's fine. So a little bit of play in standard with like the land that made tokens and stuff like that too, but not a ton of play either way. And this card adds a mana for some upside that if you're already basically winning, you get to cast a spell for free. And the idea of a card like this is you want to give your creature like +10 +0. They should die in the first swing. You know, you shouldn't be needed to trigger this card and cast spells for free, you know? So this is like a commander card, kind of like a go really big in a big game kind of card. I think that in limited, this card seems pretty good if you're like the spell deck in like blue-red or, you know, in blue-black. But yeah, a card that looks very appealing. It is similar to a card with a bit of pedigree, but overall I think is rather underwhelming. So that's trap card for Colorless Galadriel. Sorry, Gandalf. The Horn of Gondor. Gondor calls... I mean, that's the wrong one. That's me blowing the Horn of Gondor. The mana for legendary artifacts. When ETBs make a human soldier creature token, pay 3 and make X tokens, where X is the number of humans you control. So kind of a very slow token maker. However, if you're playing a draft deck with a bunch of humans already, this card's kind of sweet. You know, the fact that it makes a blocker is kind of cool too. And then as the longer the game goes, the better this card gets, obviously. So Insane and Sealed, probably pretty good in draft if you're playing a lot of humans. And then otherwise, pretty unplayable. But F's in chat for Boromir, obviously. And yeah, it's cool draft card. Horn of the Mark. I don't recall there being a Horn of the Mark, but I guess it says what's in the books, not the movies. 2 mana for a legendary artifact. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, look top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them, put it in your hand. Rest go on the bottom in a random order. So basically, attack with 2 things, draw a creature. This is the kind of card. This could have been the trap card, honestly, because I feel like this is the kind of card that traps people a lot, including myself. It looks good because you're like, well, I'm already attacking and I want to draw more cards. That sounds great. The problem is that you can't always attack. And when you're behind, this card does actual nothing. And then even if it successfully works, right? Say you play this card, attack, draw a card. Next turn, attack, draw a card. You've now spent 2 mana to draw 2 cards, which is fine, but not amazing. And you've done so at great peril. Because if things go wrong, this is a blank for 2 mana. So I like the idea of this card a lot. And I do like that it gives you immediate value of drawing a card. However, I don't necessarily think this is the kind of card that the aggro decks will want. Just like play a Planeswalker, play some like other change of pace threat, you know. So I think this card's a little off. In limited, the card seems fine, but in constructed, I think this card isn't good enough, unfortunately, because it is a cool effect. And I'm not sure what they need to do to this effect to make it good, but Inherited Envelope, 2 mana for an artifact. When ETBs, the ring tempts you, add a mana of any color. Love it. Great design. Fine limited card if you need to splash and fix and stuff like that. So, but yeah. Lembas Bread. Oh, more Lembas Bread. Oh my god. 2 mana for an artifact food. When an ETB, scry 1, then draw, which is pretty good. And then 2 mana to sacrifice and gain 3 life. So it's a food, obviously. And when it goes to the graveyard, it goes back into your deck. So this card's like fine. You know, I don't. There isn't really that much like artifact synergy. There is some like sacrifice and food synergy, of course. And, you know, ETB scry 1, draw cards, totally fine, obviously. So, it's a fine limited card, I think. Nothing too crazy. It is the first ever 2 mana artifact that cantrips that also scries, too. Which is like, you know, for some sort of weird eggs deck or whatever in Modern, that could be a thing. But for the most part, it's just a draft card. The Mirror of Galadriel. Wow, only an uncommon. 2 mana for a legendary artifact. Pay 5 and scry 1, and then draw a card. And it costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. It's slow, but if you have a ton of legends in your deck, this card can definitely play. And it's a repeatable scry effect. And of course, the ring tempts you, gives you a legend, and there are just a bunch of legends in a set too. So another kind of like slow, sort of like sealed deck kind of card. If the format's slow, this card is good. If it's fast, this card's bad for draft. Mithril Coat, Dark Steel Armor, eat your heart out. 2 mana for a equipment to flash indestructible. When it ETBs, put it onto a legendary creature you control. It gives the creature indestructible, and then it equips for 3. Very similar to Darksteel's Plate, just like fine in Commander, otherwise not playable or anything. In Limited, it's fine. Sorry. I think. I don't know. It's all right. But Constructed, not really a thing. The One Frickin' Ring. This is a weird one, right? It's literally the One Ring. It's in the freaking name of the it's in the name of the TV show, like that's the name of the movie, The One Ring. But I think people are sleeping on the One Ring a little bit as a 4-mana artifact that is sort of like a Phyrexian Arena. It doesn't look that appealing, but I think this card is a bit better than it looks. 4-mana for an artifact. It's indestructible, obviously. Whenever the One Ring enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until your next turn. So it gives you a turn reprieve of fog, basically. So assume you gain, whatever, you get to gain some life or whatever. Protects you, keeps you alive. Can't thoughts you, yada, yada, yada. Cool stuff. Untap, and you can tap and add a counter to it immediately, draw a card. Untap, draw a card again immediately. And now you're kind of off where you're untapped. You've drawn 3 cards already, and then maybe you can untap it and draw more cards or whatever you can do. I don't know exactly. I don't really know what exactly you want to do with it, but I think this card is pretty powerful and being kind of ignored because A, it's just a 4-mana Phyrexian Arena, and then B, the One Ring, the promotion is everyone's thinking about the One Ring and $1 million, not thinking about the actual card itself. So I think this card's pretty good. Am I sure? No, but that's why it's a sleeper card, honestly. And then Limited, the card's great. Just draw a few cards off of it. Be very happy about it. Yeah. The Plantiar of Orthanc. The mana for a mythic artifact. Beginning of your end step, put a influence counter on the Plantiar and scry 2. Then an opponent may have you draw a card. If the player does not, you mill X cards, where X is the number of influence counters on the Plantiar of Orthanc. And that player loses life equal to the total mana value of those cards. Really, really weird card. Another sort of Phyrexian Arena kind of card. Your opponent can choose to not have you draw and mill, but if you have an Emrakul, you're not to take 15 or whatever, something like that. I guess that doesn't work because it's shovels, but whatever. But the point is that very, very odd card here. It's kind of a card draw engine, kind of a win condition, kind of a self-mill thing. I just don't know what you do with this card, honestly. Played straight up, your opponent takes damage or lets you draw cards, which is the thing. But it's scry also, which is kind of cool too. But yeah, weird card, kind of wordy, not really, I don't know. And Limited seems great, just play it and do your thing, but the File of Galadriel, the mana for a legendary artifact commander card. If you would draw a card, you have no cards in hand, draw 2. If you gain life and you have 5 of us, you gain that much life. And when I have a color, it's just commander mana rock. Simple as that. Shire Scarecrow, 2 mana for an 0/3 defender. Filters a mana once a turn. Mana fixture unlimited. I'd prefer it being a 2/1, but 0/3 is sort of okay. Sting, the Glinting Dagger, 2 mana for a equipment. +1/+1 and has haste. Beginning of each combat, untap equip creature. Equip creature is first strike as long as it's blocking or blocked by a goblin or orc. So again, not particularly efficient. Obviously cool with Krenko and stuff like that in Commander and so on and so forth. But in Constructed, probably not. Good limited card though too, obviously. Just kind of Commander stuff. You get the idea. Stone of Erech. Whatever. 1 mana for an artifact, graveyard hate card. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it. So stops a lot of creature combos with sack outlets, stuff like that too. Pay 2, sacrifice it, exile a card in the graveyard, draw a card. Definitely kind of slow, honestly, compared to Relic Pretenders, stuff like that too. But does do the thing, honestly, as far as stopping your opponent's graveyard combo stuff, which is kind of cool. Wizard's Rockets, kind of a weird take on Chromatic Star. ETB's tapped. Pay X, sacrifice it, make X colors, and then draw a card. I guess Terrarian, better example. Fringe playable card if you're looking for a splash. It is kind of cool. This is also a sack card for the the sacrifice decks where you can sacrifice it for some value, which is kind of cool. Sacrifice it and draw a card without using it, which is kind of nice. But yeah, kind of finicky. And we're on to our lands. Minas Tirith. Best in show. Legendary land. All the legendary lands enter the battlefield tapped. Once you control a legendary creature, it taps for white. Pay 2, tap, draw a card. You can only activate this ability if you are attacking. I'm sorry, if you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn. So it's funny because this card's kind of similar to the artifact I call the trap, where you're like trying to attack with 2 creatures, which is kind of tough if you're like behind or whatever. But this is not a freaking land. You know, like you're probably already playing a decent number of legends anyway. So it has a decent chance coming untapped. And then if you can't use it, it's just a freaking plains. And if you can use it, freaking awesome. You're drawing extra cards. So I think this card's super, super cool. I like it a lot. Obviously great and limited. I think this card has a chance to play in historic, in modern, commander, all over the place, honestly. Good legendary land. Looks pretty sweet. And yeah, best in show. Rivendell. Master Elrond. Same thing. EDB tap when you control legend, taps for blue. Pay 2, scry, only if you control a legendary creature. A bit more narrow. You know, honestly, again, if you're playing with your legends in your deck, like, this is sort of a free roll, but we'll probably see some play on that fact for sure. But constructed a little less exciting, but it is also great limited and so on and so forth. We got Barad-dûr. When ETBs, same idea. And then you can pay black XX to amass Orcs X. Only if a creature died this turn. So 5 mana, make a 2/2, which is honestly not the worst. And the same idea with the legendary stuff. We've got Mines of Moria, same idea. Pay 4, exile 3 cards from your graveyard, and make 2 treasure tokens. It's actually pretty good too. And then we have the Shire. Tap a creature, make a food. All of these cards seem reasonable for playing a lot of legends. Making food's kind of cool for cat oven stuff. Making treasures is cool to ramp into things. You know, making creatures is cool, yada, yada, yada. So, whole cycle is pretty cool. You know, again, want to have a lot of legends to have this come into play untapped. Can't play it on turn 1 untapped either. It's pretty tough. So, yeah, cool cards, cool utility lands, kind of like those. We got Mount Doom, which is Sulphur Springs and steroids here. It's a only pain land, so you can't pay Colorless for no life. You gotta pay life to tap it. 3 mana to deal 1 damage to each opponent, and then 7 mana to sacrifice Mount Doom and an artifact. Choose up to 2 creatures and destroy the rest. Activate only as a sorcery. Mount Doom, not a mountain. But yeah, kind of a weird card. Obviously, if you have access to a legendary artifact, if you have actually a legendary artifact, having this ability to just like sort of wrath the board on a land is pretty awesome. It's painful, but it's cool. And then the 3 mana to deal 1 is like pretty sketchy, but yeah, it's gonna come down to like, is there a Rakdos deck that plays a number of legendary artifacts that can do a thing? But cool card. The Grey Havens, uncommon, ETB Scry 1, very powerful, unlimited, and honestly just good in general. Like, people used to play Zephyrian Void, Colorless Land Scry 1, that's it. You know, so this card is that and more, which is kind of cool. Not necessarily, you don't want to have legendary creatures in your graveyard, obviously, but it does do that. So, probably won't see much play, but cool, very, very good card in drafts as far as getting a Scry off your land. The Great Hall of the Citadel, which is a colorless land also. Pay 1 and filter mana into 2 colors for legendary spells. Again, just draft card here, honestly. Just, you know, cool draft card for splashing legends. Kind of cool. Shire Terrace. There it is, folks. The Bombin Common. Real simple. This land is great. I think this land is better than Terramorphic Expanse, and that card is also really great too. And this card allows you to fix your mana, but also not have that 4th land come in tapped and kill you. So always comes in untapped, always makes mana, and then can fix also, which is great. So love this card for splashes. Just a good card. Just seems great. And that's it. That's the whole freaking set, folks. Best in show for Colorless. Minas Tirith. Sleeper card, the One Ring. Trap card, Glamdring, Bombin Common, Shire Terrace, and our flavor winner is Entdrot Basin. That's the freaking set. Let's hear it for me. Oh, man. Yeah. Definitely a super, super cool deck. Now we gotta do the set review extended editions. Are we going over all the commander cards? No, I'm not doing that. I'm just kidding. But thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate it as always. Anything you missed, of course, will be up on YouTube. Full set reviews. They're a lot of fun. This should be a fun set. I'm playing a Pro Tour in this format. I got 10 new brews coming up next week. 5 modern, 5 historic. I got Bronze Mythic coming up next week. It's gonna be awesome as well. I'll be at Campus Orlando. I'll be at Too Many Games convention. Holy shit. Holy shit. All right, Matt, what's up? Thanks for resub. All right, folks, appreciate it. Thanks so much. I'm done. Oh, I do my Monday. Shit. All right, what should I do for my Monday? You do, folks. Love you. Like, comment, subscribe. You're all great.